Welcome back to The Explainer. I'm super pumped you're here because today we're diving straight into the ultimate tactical playbook for hackathon success. We're breaking down the powerhouse guide on problem statement selection. And honestly, this is absolutely, without a doubt, the single most critical phase of any competition. So, let's get right into it. Think about this for a second. Picture all those caffeine-fueled all-nighters, the frantic typing, the ridiculous amount of talent sitting around a folding table. Why is it that most of those teams literally lose the hackathon before they've written a single line of code? Like, before the real hacking even begins? Well, here's the harsh truth. It's because they picked the wrong problem statement. It really is that simple, and it's that fatal. A bad problem statement means all that hard work, all those brilliant late-night coding sprints, they lead absolutely nowhere. But a good one, a carefully selected razor-sharp problem statement, that gives your team insane energy, crystal clear direction, and a genuine actual shot at taking home the prize. So, here's our game plan for today. 1. Winning before you code. 2. The 4 crucial filters. 3. Validating your idea. 4. Fatal mistakes to avoid. And 5. The 7-point checklist. Starting off with Section 1, winning before you code, or setting your team's direction. You know, hackathons aren't actually won in that final panicked hour of frantic debugging. Nope, they're won right here, in the planning phase. A solid problem statement is basically your compass. Before you lock anything in, before you even think about opening your code editor or sketching out a wireframe, you've got to run your potential ideas through a strict set of criteria to see if they're actually viable. It's all about working smart before you work hard. Which brings us to Section 2, the 4 crucial filters. This is your 4 criteria checklist. This checklist right here, this is the core of the powerhouse strategy. Think of these as 4 non-negotiable filters every single idea has to survive. Filter number 1 is feasibility. You have to look your team in the eye and ask, can we actually build a working solution with meaningful features in the time we have? This filter forces some brutal honesty. Do you guys actually have the skills right now? The tools? Is the scope even remotely realistic for a weekend sprint? Because look, pitching an impossibly vague, massive scope like, we're going to solve all traffic in India. Yeah, you've already lost. You just can't do that on a weekend. Instead, you need something perfectly scoped and feasible, like AI-based crop disease detection using a smartphone camera, right? That is something a focused team can actually build during a hackathon using a basic ML model and a simple UI. Okay, moving to the second filter, impact. The judges need to see exactly who is being helped and exactly how. You've got to answer who benefits if this problem is solved. Like, what actually changes in the real world? Is this solving a legitimate pain point with a clearly defined before and after state? Because honestly, if you can't articulate the impact, judges are not going to care how cool the tech is. Pitching just a random web app tells the judges literally nothing about the value you've created. But pitching early crop disease detection saves yield and reduces financial loss, that clearly shows a measurable, practical, and financial benefit for a very specific user base. It just screams impact. Filter number 3 is the unique angle. You have got to find the gap in the current market. Ask yourself, how is your approach actually different from what's already out there? What does your solution do that a quick Google search, some app on the App Store, or just a simple manual workaround can't already handle? I mean, another attendance app is going to put the judging panel straight to sleep. But look at how you can pivot that exact same concept. Offline first attendance with face recognition for rural schools with poor internet. By adding those specific real-world constraints, like spotty internet in rural areas, you instantly transform a super boring, overdone idea into a highly competitive winning angle. And finally, the 4th filter, clarity. Can you explain your problem statement in exactly 1 sentence to a total stranger, whether they're technical or not, in under 10 seconds? If you explain this to someone and they just look confused, or if it takes you a 5-minute rambling monologue to explain what you're building, yeah, you've already lost the judges. So please avoid meaningless tech jargon like a multi-node blockchain synergy paradigm. That literally means nothing. Contrast that with a crystal clear 10-second pitch. We help visually impaired students navigate college campuses using audio-based AR guidance. Boom, done. 10 seconds, and I know exactly who it's for, exactly what it does, and the specific technology it uses. All right, Section 3, validating your idea. It's time to move past your gut feeling. Look, a great idea on a whiteboard is awesome, but it needs rigorous real-world testing before you commit your entire weekend to it. This validation comes down to 3 quick steps. Step 1, research existing solutions so you can find that actual gap in the market. Step 2, do a reality check with your team to make sure everyone genuinely has the capacity to build the thing. And step 3, the one-line test. Have every single team member explain the problem statement in one sentence without checking their notes. If you're getting different answers, rewrite it until everyone is 100% aligned. When you're researching those existing solutions in step 1, don't just randomly Google things. Reading just 2 or 3 research abstracts is going to give you vastly more clarity. You've got Google Scholar as your solid baseline, PubMed for anything health-related, and Archive for AI and machine learning preprints. And hey, here's a massive pro tip from the source material. If you find a killer paper locked behind a $30 paywall on IEEE, take that exact title and search it on Google Scholar or ResearchGate. Most of the time, you'll find a free version uploaded directly by the author. It's a total lifesaver. Okay, moving to section 4, fatal mistakes to avoid. These are your enemy traps. Now, I want you to treat this part like a halftime speech because falling into these traps will absolutely tank your momentum right in the middle of the hackathon. Number 1, choosing based on a trend instead of your team's actual strengths. Do not force AI or blockchain into a project just to sound impressive if your team doesn't actually know how to execute it. Number 2, a scope that is way too broad. Keep it narrow, one specific user, one specific pain point. Number 3, skipping that uniqueness check. Judges see hundreds of apps. If yours just looks like something that already exists but with a slightly different color scheme, it won't stand out. And finally, number 4, your team isn't aligned before the clock starts. If half of you want to build X and the other half want to build Y, you've got to decide together before that timer starts. Mid-hackathon arguments, that's a guaranteed loss. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, the 7-point checklist, the final quick reference check. Think of this as the grand finale of our playbook. You need to treat this checklist as a strict set of laws. Before you even think about opening your code editors, you absolutely must be able to tick every single one of these boxes. 1, you can build a working prototype in time. 2, you know exactly who this helps. 3, you can explain the impact in just 2 sentences. 4, your approach is genuinely unique. 5, every single team member can explain the problem in 1 sentence. 6, the scope is totally focused. And 7, the entire team agrees on this exact problem statement. And I really cannot overstate this. If even one checkbox is not ticked, do not ignore it. Seriously, do not sweep a missing checkmark under the rug thinking, oh, we'll just figure it out later. Because I promise you, it will surface during the pitch and it will tank your chances. If a box isn't ticked, stop everything. Discuss it as a team and resolve it before you take a single step forward. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. As you gear up for your next competition, armed with these 4 filters and this completely rigorous validation process, look at your next big idea and ask yourself, can your team tick all 7 boxes? Because if you can, you're not just participating anymore, you are ready to dominate. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. Now get out there and build something incredible.